Okay, so we're sitting at idle right now. We're idling at about 40 degrees on the 8700K. That is overclocked at 5 gigahertz per core, and that's looking pretty decent. We're sitting at the high 30s, low 40s is where we're sitting right about now. And this is the trial version, so ignore that watermark, just ignore it. But then we have Cinebench here, so we're going to run and we're going to see what kind of temperatures we get. We're going to see what we spike up to and whatnot. And then once we're done with that, we're going to let it cool back down, which is very fast for air cooling, not so much for water cooling. And then we are going to go ahead and run the OpenGL version of this. So we're going to run the CPU one first, and then we're going to run this. I already ran it once just to test it to make sure we're stable, so we didn't get any awkward crashes. But we're going to sit here, and it just spiked up to 69 degrees for whatever reason there. But so yeah, we're going to sit here and we're going to go ahead and run Cinebench, and we'll have the scores to the scores to compare from. Okay, so looks like we maxed out near 90-ish. I wasn't really watching. I was trying to keep the camera steady, but we did get a score of 1571, which is pretty good for because the identical system gets actually lower. But something that I found on the OpenGL test is really weird. I seem to be getting lower with my graphics card. I'm not really sure why. I even have the boost on, the overclock mode on. I'm going to play with that and research some of that and try and get that up. But we're going to let our temperatures back down to idle, which it looks like it is because we were back down into the low 30s and the upper 30s and the lower 40s. So now that we are idle again, I'm going to go ahead and run the OpenGL. We're not going to see anything happen here, so we're going to go ahead and have to watch our usage over here in Task Manager, which I'll go ahead and pull over to this side. So we'll just see what we get from that. Okay, so from what I saw there, it really didn't stress the GPU all that much when we were doing that. And we got 154 flat FPS, so that's really interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting. And another thing I noticed when I was doing the CPU stress, or the CPU Cinebench, is that we weren't actually thermal throttling any here, which is something different from what I noticed when I was running the stress test inside of Ada64. I was noticing that we were getting thermal throttling up to like 9% thermal throttling. So we're going to run this test again. We're going to see what kind of results we get from that. Okay, we can see that we have, okay, we just hit 100. We just hit 100, but it seems like we're actually maintaining below 100, which is not what I was expecting. It's not what we were getting beforehand. We were actually going above up to 100 or more. Because, oh yeah, look, we're getting, 10% thermal throttling. You could just see that. So we are getting a little bit of thermal throttling. And I wonder what the TJ max is for this processor. TJ max is thermal junction max. It's the point in which the CPU will start to thermal throttle in order to generate less heat, and also to, it decreases the clock speed, and you know what thermal throttling is. It throttles the amount of voltage that the CPU is drawing, so that way it doesn't overheat. So we are getting we are definitely getting thermal throttling. Max was 11% at one point. We're going to let this run up to 3 minutes, and then we're going to see what kind of thermals we're getting. After that, we are going to, I guess, close up shop, and we're going to wait until we have our new water cooling loop in before we test to see what kind of results we get from water cooling. Obviously, we'll be doing a little bit better on CPU thermals. That's the plan, at least. And yeah, so I guess we will just have to go ahead and wait out this stress test. And I think I'm actually going to go to 5 minutes. Okay, so we are approaching 5 minutes here, and something I've noticed is the thermal throttling is definitely doing its job. It's not getting above 100 degrees Celsius. I'm not seeing it going above. It immediately thermal throttles and cools down the core. I have not seen it go above 100 at all. Alright, so we just surpassed 5 minutes. We'll go ahead and stop it. And one thing I am going to miss about air cooling is watch how fast the temperatures of the CPU just drop. Just instantly. Just immediately drops down to like 40. I mean, look, we're almost back to idle temperatures. We got like 5 degrees to go before we're back at idle temperatures. And if I come over to... I just bumped into my mic. We're still exhausting warm air, so I think it's going to take a second for it to draw in enough cool air from the intake fans there to cool off the CPU enough. Because it looks like we have one core that's a little bit hot. No, now it's not. So now it looks like we're back to about idle. So yeah, that's something I'm definitely going to miss. Look how fast it just goes back down. So we were experiencing definitely some thermal throttling in here. The max was 17% thermal throttling. So it basically choked 17% of the CPU's performance at one point, which you can see the spike right there at the end. It spiked right there. So yeah, that was a 5 minute 6 second stress test. So we are going to come back after Christmas with another video after, you know, I assemble it and all that other stuff. We'll come back with another video testing the same things that we did here, except with the water cooling loop, and we are going to see the difference in the numbers that we receive from those things. Yeah, so dab on them haters, escatit, let's do it. Air Assassin, out. That was, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so this is about an hour after I just recorded that last segment. The case has come in, and I am worried, but I want to say that I'm initially disappointed at Amazon because nowhere on here is there a fragile sticker, anywhere. The only place I didn't check was the bottom, and no, there isn't one on the bottom as you would expect. It would be on the side somewhere, but there is nothing. Ignore that, that's my heater. But all I see here is the label. That's it. So, after I turn off my heater, okay, it's gonna shut off eventually. We're fine. But I'm very disappointed though, because I would have thought that Amazon would have had better packaging than this. But they didn't. Really? You can't. I mean, how does that even happen? How does this big of a dent happen? Like, I can't even... I can feel the case. I'm pretty sure that's the case I'm feeling. That's bad. If there's a ding on here, I'm going to be unsatisfied, to say the least. Alright, so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and grab some scissors, and we're going to go ahead and unbox this. So, we're going to go ahead and inspect it, make sure there's nothing wrong with it. And if there's nothing wrong with it, then we get to put it back in the box until it is time to open it for Christmas. So, it doesn't look like it hit anything. I don't see a dent where it went through. So that's lucky on their part, because I would have been kind of pissed, to be honest. I would have been asking for, oh, you know what? This isn't even Amazon. This is Newegg. This is Newegg's packing job. Or not their packing job, but this is Newegg's shipping. So, wow. And this thing, I will say, this thing did come in 2 days. 3 days. Today's the 3rd day. They were fast, but at the same time, I would have rather them be slower than to have this happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're going to drag it onto the carpet here, so we don't risk anything with the tile floor. Okay, so we got it out. So we got foam. Perfect. I guess let's go ahead and safely dismount it from the foam temporarily. Okay, we got the case on this side. Alright, so initial build quality seems pretty sturdy. Can't say anything yet though. And let's see. Alright, moment of truth. Let's see, let's make sure I'm opening up to the side near you. The right side near you. Okay. Ready? Here we go. Ow! It shocked me. Ooh, okay. So we already got a couple of problems here. One, this wasn't seated. That's fine. Really don't care. It's magnetic. It's going to move around. See if I see anything else before I show you that. Tempered glass looks like tempered glass.
Wow.
Front is acrylic though. I thought it was tempered glass. Maybe it is tempered glass. Maybe I'm being retarded. Okay. Alright, so I see one problem, two problems. One is DIY PC's fault. The other one is just a design flaw. Okay, so we got two problems here. If I take my phone here, we can see that this isn't exactly lined up with these holes. And I was like, why is it not lined up? Well, it's not even seated in the seam properly. As you can see here, it's not even like, it's just wrong. Like, it's lined up here, just not over on this side. Like, I feel like DIY PC could have done a better job at making sure that this was right. I mean, that's a pretty simple thing to be watching for. Just a visual look down every time you put one of these in boxes, because when people open these, they don't want to have to mess with this kind of stuff. They don't want to have to mess with this kind of stuff. And the thing I was talking about with airflow is that if we look here, you can see that it's not going to work very well because, I don't know, it's kind of hard to show. But basically, there's not enough room between the fans, and I'll show this more in detail when we get into the case, when we take apart the case and stuff. But there's not enough room between the glass or in the front and the there's not enough room between the glass in the front and the fans. So airflow with the radiator in the front is going to be a problem. I already predicted that this was going to be a problem in the front because it's just going to be. There's not enough room. I looked it up. There have been other people that have problems with it. So I'm thinking the top is going to be the best option to mount our radiator with fans, and then the front will be just the regular fans. And then, yeah. I'm not going to take it off. Everything looks good in here. And let me turn the case around for a sec. Wow, this is like, I feel like it's pretty much the same size as my other case that I have, the NZXT Noctis 450. But if we turn this case around here for you, we do have tempered glass on this side here as well. Top is like a mesh filter. It's magnetic. You can just slide it off and take it off like that. And yeah, so initial things, not too satisfied with this, to be honest, right here. And it doesn't want to just come up. See if I can, okay, there it goes. So maybe that got knocked off in transit, maybe it, to be honest, I'm not really sure. Anything could have happened, but, oh. Hear that? That's not a very satisfying clicking noise. Like, I kind of like the feedback. It is pretty hard to press, but... Ooh, and you gotta press this reset button pretty far down. It's kind of hard with how small the hole is. Same thing with the LED buttons. Not too satisfied with that. You got your fan controls here. And all it says is L. It's supposed to be something else, I think. Maybe, maybe not. Got a hard drive light. That's pretty cool. USB 3.0 and whatnot. But yeah, so initial thoughts. It's all right. I like it. Definitely worth the price I paid for it. But yeah, glass on these sides. That's got to be acrylic. That does not sound like glass. I may be wrong, but maybe it's just the way it's mounted. But that does not sound like glass to me. And yeah, so, cool. Other than that, I think that's it for this, part of the video. Because, yeah. Realistically, I mean, there's not much to go wrong here. It's a case. They do have the dust filter on the bottom here for the power supply. That's a neat addition that I like. But once again, I think airflow in the front with the radiator, that's going to be a problem. I don't think we're going to be able to do the radiator in the front like I was hoping originally to do that. Not the easiest filter ever to get back in its slot. In fact, I missed one of the things. See, there we go. Now I got it back in. But yeah, this is just kind of sitting here. What is this? This is the power to what? Power to fans? I don't even know. We're going to leave that alone for now. Yeah, so I'll be back with the other parts that we are going to inspect to make sure that nothing broke. That's at least with the things that could have broken in transit. The only thing I'm really going to do is I'm gonna inspect all the parts next, is what's going to happen basically. So I'm going to take everything out of the box and we'll do unboxing of that. But yeah, so that's that. Well, I like the case. It's really good looking. Cable management in the back is just not the best, to be honest, from the packaging. But yeah, so what do you expect? Yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next segment. I'm not going to take it off.
Look at this dude.
I put it in upside down. That's pretty epic, not going to lie. Okay, so we are here, and we are going to open up the things that came in the mail today. We're going to open up, we got 3 packages here. We also have the designs for what I was going to do for the cooling loop. You can see, like, this was the original idea, which has changed because this reservoir, I'm no longer using that reservoir. I'm using a different reservoir. Is this the one? This is the one. Okay, so this is my plan that I was going to do, and I revised that plan from what I had to this, which is basically I'm going to have the output take a 45 angle, and it's going to go over to here, and then I'm going to have it to the CPU. Then I'm going to have it go from the CPU, go all the way over to the rad, and the rad back down into the reservoir. So that is the plan. Yeah, I mean it's pretty simple. But I was going to show you guys that just so you guys know what the whole plan was. Okay, well, I couldn't find the scissors that I was using, so we're just going to go ahead and unbox this one first. So, it came rather late today, later than it usually does. Usually comes earlier in the day, or I would have done this sooner. Let's see. What do we got here? Ah, the cable mod cables, the extension cables, and there are the cable combs. So that's really cool. Got the cable. You can't. If you're gonna water cool, do a custom loop like this, you need to have this. I mean, if you're going that far, you got to take it all the way, right? Oh, here's the flow indicator for the cooling loop, so that way we can see it and confirm that it is indeed creating flow. So that's cool. Put this stuff over here. Got the next package here. I think this one's the fans is in this. Okay, we got 2 45-degree elbows right here. That's cool. So we got the 45-degree elbows, 2 of them. There should be another 2 on the way. I accidentally ordered 1 too little. Oh, here they are. They came in the same package. We ordered them soon enough. So those are the 4 45-degree angle. The EK Supremacy Evo water block. That's actually really heavy. This is like pound and a half. Was not expecting that, to be honest. Wasn't expecting it to be that heavy. And then lastly, we have these are our male fittings, male to male fittings for 1/4 inch, so that way we can put the flow meter on and stuff. So that's cool. And lastly, we got the package. Got to scoot some stuff out of the way here, so that way we can. It's not quite in frame. I actually have this just sitting on top of my microphone arm, so it's not exactly mounted properly. But yeah. Okay, so this is the heavy box. Of course, because we have this, which is what, like 5 pounds or something heavy? Something really heavy. So, I'll take this and move it out of the way. We got the Neo Changer RGB LED reservoir, the 200 milliliter capacity one. I've seen some bad reports on Amazon, but it's people that don't make sure that their blocks are clean, because they're complaining about things like, oh, the pump died and stuff, and then I'm seeing other people that are saying, what are you talking about? Nobody else's has died. There's only like 3 people. And if it does die in the first like 5 months, then whatever, just call Enermax and they'll send you a replacement. Enermax support has even shown up in those reviews and was like, hey, just contact our support and we'll get everything resolved for you. So, really glad. It's a good brand. I don't know why people have been experiencing what they have been. Next in the package is our Thermal Grizzly Hydronaut thermal paste, 1 gram of it. It's actually really small. It's a lot smaller than I thought it was. So you can only get probably like 2, 3, 4 pea sizes out of this on your block or on your CPU. This was actually open like this. Okay, that's not really supposed to be like that, is it? It's not. So it's kind of odd that the packaging was messed up like that. Interesting. I can't seem to get it back in either, so. Open this up. These are the fans up here. That's the brand of the fans. I'm not sure why. Alright, we got that back together. Doesn't really matter anyways. But. So we have rubber pads here that go. Oh, I see. Okay, cool. They have rubber pads. That's really good. I was hoping they would include rubber pads or something of the sort. Here we have. Oh wow! It actually comes with an included fan hub that you can control with the remote. So if we look here, it comes with this remote control here, which is really cool that they included that. And honestly, it's not really that bad for something of this sort. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed that they included this. Looks like we got 6 fans. 6 fans and an RGB. So 6 fans, 2 RGB headers, and this last one is not even really sure. It looks like a 4-pin, but. Is that where it gets its power? I have no clue. We'll figure it out. It's got an instruction thing in here probably somewhere. Screws for all 3. I guess the other one's down in there somewhere. More pads. The 3 RGB 120 millimeter Silent Edition fans from up here. Had to include the Silent Edition. We do have more fan blades here, so this is going to be more of a what do you call it? My brain just died a little. This is going to be more of a high airflow fan, not a static pressure fan. So it's going to be, wow. Right, so yeah, it's going to be a little bit worse for the radiator. So I think I'm going to move the fans from the front of the case to the radiator fans, or something along the lines, because we definitely want the best fans to be on the radiator. And I do have one knock to a fan that I might put on there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that knock to a fan yet, but we will see what we want to do with that. I think what I'm going to do is take 2 of these and put it mounted on the side part where there's room for a 240 rad, which I'm not even going to put in, but I'm going to put it there on the side of the case for that. So, right, cool. Hello everybody, Assassin here, and welcome to the outro to the video. That's the weird way to put it. Anyways, I wanted to tell you guys that there are some things that I've been considering with this build. All the parts are completely in, everything's cable managed. Excuse me, for the most part. Everything's in the new case. I did run into a small problem though. The problem is that if I mount the radiator on the top of the case, like I said, oh my god, I'm dying. If I mount the radiator on the top of the case, like I said I wanted to, that creates problems because the heat from the GPU is going to be exhausted out the top of the case, which will increase the thermals of the CPU. So I'll try and figure out what I'm going to do for that, but I just wanted to get that in before the end of this video because things have changed, a lot has happened. This video is going to go out as soon as I possibly can get it out. Something I do want to say though is that I'm going to try and get the next part out before Christmas. Not sure if I will. The next part is just going to be me putting everything from the old case into the new case. And then the fourth part is going to be throwing the water cooling stuff in there, and then the finale will be obviously showcasing it, so you guys know all about that. So without further ado, this is Air Assassin. Be sure to like the video, comment, subscribe. You guys know all about what to do. If you want to join my Discord server, the link to that is in the description below. This is Air Assassin, and as always, see you all in the next video. Peace.